Shalom Chaverim. We had a beautiful day here in the district. Some clouds rolled in, got a little cloudy, then clear, cloudy, then clear. However, it was a pleasant day, and according to the weather... Oh, Josh Jenkins, please email me, rabbiblock@hotmail.com, and we'll co-host together next Wednesday. We can meet in my Zoom room and decide on our topics and how we'll relate to each other. I would love to have you as my co-host. And to invite random people in, but you're not random, but to invite people in, it's really hard to do. But guarantee, we'll co-host, Josh, next Wednesday, so I expect to hear from you. And the Latina... same thing. Isaac Akers, same. I'm inviting you to co-host with me next week. Definitely co-host with me. So we can all go. We can all let me know some good times. And I can meet with, I'm retired, so I can meet with different people. We can all meet together. We can have a panel. We'll all meet in my Zoom room and decide on topic and questions, and we could start something. Nothing says we would co-host 8 o'clock live just once. We could have a panel. This could be the start of something. I don't know if there's practical limits to having a co-host. I think there might be. However, there are plenty of Wednesday nights coming up. So let's do that, please. Guarantee. So, for everyone listening, everyone watching, I now have a dozen individuals that will be co-hosting. And once we make the arrangements, we'll publicize it, etc., etc. A happy Thanksgiving. Many of us will be observing a biblical holiday, a Jewish holiday tomorrow, the holiday of Sukkot. The pilgrims, as you know, were Old Testament, Hebrew scripture oriented, and they wanted to fulfill many of the Jewish holidays and rituals because they didn't see them as Jewish, they saw them as part of Old Testament. And so Thanksgiving was one of them. So the modern holiday of Thanksgiving is fashioned after the holiday of Sukkot, the holiday to give thanks to God for fruits and vegetables, for our food, for our very lives. It's a holiday of thanksgiving and a holiday of gratitude. You invite Not My Real Name. That's a winner. I'm certainly going to invite the man with no name. Maybe you have a horse with no name, or a dog with no name. But please, I guarantee, you email me, you meet in my Zoom room, we'll co-host. I didn't hear that the Pashtum were lost tribes. So let me get off my topic for a moment, which I haven't even started. I do not believe there were any lost tribes. And history supports this view. No tribes were lost. By the year 0, there were more Jews, Hebrews, living outside of Judea, Palestine, whatever you want to call that strip along the coast, than living in it. There were more Hebrews or Jews in the city of Rome. Now, that's not to say that there weren't Jews living in Judea or Israel or Palestine, whatever our name is. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that number-wise, we have the Jews of Kaifang. We have the Jews in India. So by the year 0, Jews had migrated all over the planet, established colonies, trade routes. The Phoenician sailors, many Phoenicians were Jewish, and they came here to North America. And this idea, like the Lost Patrol, that there was 1 million Jews marching around and got lost, come on, not true. So to think about it, it makes more sense to dismiss this lost tribe nonsense and just say that the Pashtum were Jewish. I'm going to use the word Hebrew because that's more of a biblical term. That their ancestors left the land of Canaan, left when Joshua conquered the land and divided up among the tribes. And remember, they couldn't get along. So we now have two kingdoms, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. That people went to India, people went to Pakistan, people just migrated everywhere. But there wasn't a tribe. They didn't head off en masse on a wagon train and start a TV show. No, they traced their roots back. Maybe the days of King Solomon, maybe the days of King David, maybe during the days of Joshua. And historians and archaeologists are piecing this together. So drop this idea of lost tribes. Okay? Farting. People, the Hebrews, migrated all over the planet, and then when other Hebrews came there, they found them, and they identified with the Landsman and said, we're a member of the tribe, an MOT, which is why in Minnesota there are people from Scandinavia. That's why in southern Florida there are people from Cuba, because the first individuals came, set up residence, then when others of the same nationality came, they identified with the people that were there and said, oh, we eat the same food, we speak the same language, so we're going to settle here in Miami. We're going to settle here in the Twin Cities. And we find that, what does the yarmulke stand for? Yeah, we find that all over, and so no lost tribes. In Eastern religions, covering your head is a sign of respect. It's not a religious item per se. In the Western church, uncovering your head is a sign of respect. So when you walk into a church, you take your head off. When you walk into a synagogue, a temple, you cover your head because you're in God's presence. But I'm in God's presence all the time. So people said, I'm going to wear a yarmulke, a kippah all the time. Because I'm always in God's presence. But it's not a specific injunction in the Torah. It's cultural. Really, really nice. Neat question. I have no idea how many types of Judaism there are. There are many. The easiest way is Orthodox and non-Orthodox. And then that cuts into the two groups, Orthodox and non-Orthodox. And then there's no one can answer that. Okay? But keep in mind that this is because there's no central authority in Judaism. There's no pope, no cardinal, no school of bishops. There's no one we can turn to and say, what do Jews believe? And that's why we have the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Anglican Church does not recognize Pope Leo. And the Protestant churches don't recognize the Pope. And they have their own system. The Eastern Orthodox have the Exilarch. They, again, have their own system for recognizing the head or authority. And because of that, we can have many groups in Judaism that identify as Jews. And we've had some branches of Judaism that never survived, never made it. At some point in history, no one bothered to join, no one stayed, and they disappeared. Okay? I'm playing with my worry beads, by the way, if you're worrying what I'm doing with my hands. They originally were a circle, and I've played with them so much I broke it. And then the beads fell off, I restrung them and just kind of tied the ends. But these were in a, well, not quite a circle. They ended about here, and they had this little tassel part. Can I speak with you on live? Email me, rabbiblock@hotmail.com, and we'll meet in my Zoom room. I'll answer any of your questions. And if you'd like to co-host, we'll set up the outline procedure. Okay? I picked as a title, You're Doing It Wrong. And what I've discovered here on TikTok, there is an incredible number of individuals whose sole purpose in the known universe is to tell me I'm doing it wrong. Whatever it is, I'm doing it wrong. And they know the right way, and they want to enlighten me. The latest is the drawer under my oven. It's for storing pots and pans. Oh no, it's for keeping food warm. I have news for that individual. Not every appliance was designed to keep food warm in a drawer. Mine does not have a thermostat, a heater, or an element. But because it's under the oven, it would stay warm. That may be, but it really was designed to store pots and pans. And if I want to warm something, I have a microwave. I have an air fryer. I have lots of ways that are much better at warming things up than putting them underneath the oven. And so I want to start with, I'm using my oven wrong. I'm using the drawer wrong. No, I'm not. It's very functional, and it works to storing pots and pans. And guess what? I opened it up when the oven was on, it wasn't hot. If it gets hot, they're pots and pans. They're designed to get hot. Then the next one, I'm using the saucepan wrong because the hole in the handle is to hold the spoon that you're storing the food with. So I said, great, I'm stirring my oatmeal. I'm going to store my spoon, like he said, in the handle. I put it in the hole, and the oatmeal on the spoon dribbled down all over the handle. I now have a little puddle of oatmeal on the cooktop, and I can't touch the spoon. What I always did was, I had a little saucer. I would use a napkin. I had a spoon thing that I would put it in. Wow. So you're wrong in putting a gooey spoon in a handle sticking up over whatever gooey substance you're stirring. You can convert into Judaism if you would like to explore conversion, not just you, Brett, but anyone that asked. Again, email me. I'll be glad to talk to you about how one converts into Judaism, because Judaism is a religion. But that's just a stove. Someone else was telling me I was starting my car wrong. You have to push this button first. I went looking for that button. It's not in the manual. It's not in my car. It may be a unique feature to one particular car, but in my 80 years, I have never, except when we owned some very old vehicles, particularly diesels, that required a certain sequence to get them started. Not that you did it wrong, just wouldn't start. There's a difference, okay? We have a saying in West Virginia, there are many ways to skin a cat. I have no idea why anyone would want to skin a cat, but there are many ways to do it, if you want. And I've owned many cats. I had a Seal Point Siamese, Coco, cross-eyed. And don't look online, it's not the same. And it was a rescue. You have to find a Seal Point Siamese cross-eyed cat. You have to look at the cat and have the cat look at you. Very, very weird. And Midnight was our other cat. It was a black Burmese. So black, it looked purple. Great cats. They were cats. Really good cats. So let's get back to our topic. The list of, I'm seeing people telling me I'm doing it wrong. Now, there's a difference between dangerous. Here in the United States, we drive on the right. UK, Australia, some other countries, you drive on the left. Doing the opposite is dangerous, not wrong. So any of you, what you might be thinking, we want to separate out dangerous from wrong, okay? If something's dangerous, you don't want to do it. But to tell me that I'm putting the spoon in the wrong place, or I'm starting my car wrong, or I'm putting my pants on wrong, or I'm hanging up my clothes wrong. And I find that fascinating because a good part of TikTok are individuals who want to teach us the right way because they've discovered it. Now, it's entertaining, except it's spilling over into religion. And then it's not entertaining, and it's wrong. People telling me that if I don't believe in what they believe, I'm wrong. They will go so far as to tell me I'm going to a very unpleasant place. But if I do it their way, I'm going to go to a nice place when I die. And the list of individuals who have stopped with the appliances and car starting and windshields, etc., and are now going over into lifestyle and religion, and mine is wrong and theirs is right. I don't buy it. And I think those of you promoting this have to take a good look at not just your religion. My mansion has many rooms. There are many ways to understand God. Not just, and it's not that any one is wrong. We need a different criteria. Does it work? Does it carry out the goal? If my goal is to reheat food, putting it on the, no, I don't support what Israel's doing. Putting it on the counter, it'll spoil before it gets warm enough. But the microwave and air fryer will work. So we want to shift from wrong to there are many ways. Each of us has to find our path to God, our way to God, and not condemn, attack someone else because their way isn't. And even within a given religion, I'm 70, 20s or 30s, that's 50, 60 years ago. I went into a Hasidic synagogue, Lubavitch, Satmar, I don't remember which one. And I was going for the morning service to lay tefillin. And I started winding my tefillin this way. Well, you might have thought I was sacrificing a pig because everyone at the minyan came over to wrestle with me and told me it was wrong. You don't do it this way, you do it this way. Satmar. Well, a couple of weeks later, I'm going to the morning minyan at Lubavitch. Now I know the right way. So I did that. You might have thought I was sacrificing a pig. They came and said, that's wrong. You're laying the tefillin wrong. You wind it this way, not that way. And that triggered a thought. These individuals were too obsessed with narishkeit, nonsense, irrelevancy. Because if each thought a different way was the right way and the other way was the wrong way, that led me to believe that laying tefillin was wrong. And we see that here on TikTok. One has to accept. Now, the Roman Catholic Church has very different teachings from the Episcopal, the Anglican, or from the Baptist. Rather than getting on and pointing out they're wrong and I'm right and you want to follow me, let's go back and say there are many ways to understand God. There are many ways to fulfill the commandments. Do they work for you? Does putting a gooey spoon in the hole in the handle of a pot of oatmeal and having oatmeal drip all over your stovetop, if that works for you, bavakasha, do it. Doesn't work for me. I don't heat food in the drawer under my oven. It doesn't work for me. My microwave does. My air fryer does. But don't tell me it's wrong. And don't tell me there's a button I have to push before I start my car. Can't find the button. It doesn't exist. And the same goes with windshield wipers and the list, goes on and on. Yeah, almost everywhere in TikTok, you're doing it wrong. And rather, I would like to have people say to me, I found a new way to do something. What do you think? Why don't you try this way? See if it works for you. See if it helps you get organized. See if putting food in a drawer under your oven keeps it warm when the drawer is not a warmer and has no elements and no thermostat, no way to control it. Does it work? Okay? And in terms of religion, be a lighthouse. Live your religion that would show me that's terrific. Look at their religious practice. It creates gratitude. It gets them to help people who don't have what they have. It helps them respect individuals created in God's image. In Orthodox Judaism and Islam, there are dietary restrictions. For those of us who follow a non-Orthodox pattern of Judaism, we don't have dietary restrictions. What we're doing isn't wrong. What they're doing isn't right. They've looked and studied, and I kept kosher for 10 years, 15 years of my life. I was a vegetarian. I was macrobiotic in college. And so I've done many regimens to see if they worked for me. And they didn't help me get closer to God. And so I didn't say they were wrong. I didn't condemn anybody. No, didn't work for me. And there are so many teachings out there. Why isn't everyone Roman Catholic? Roman Catholicism predates all you Protestants. In fact, all you Protestants are going to that very warm place because you're not following the sacraments of the Roman Catholic Church, which is the oldest church. Way before Martin Luther, there was the Roman Catholic and the Eastern Orthodox churches. Because you agree with what I'm saying. You realized that there are many paths. I keep coming back to skinning cats. I find that bizarre. And maybe somebody will Google that and tell me how, or understand how that expression, there are many ways to skin a cat, came about. Middle Ages, later on, only in West Virginia. I don't know, but I've heard that Garfield in the Wok can be pretty tasty. But that's not on my list of eating dogs and cats. Chickens, yes, cows. Horses, in France, I don't know what the law is anymore, but at one time, the horse meat was available in France. I don't know what the latest is. Islam is a brother-sister religion to Judaism. We share Abraham, our father. Abraham had 2 sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Isaac goes off. Ishmael goes off. Each finding their own path, their own way to unite with the one. Different cultures, adapting the belief in the one to different cultures. And so I'm not sure what the question, what are your thoughts on Islam? Someone asked last week if I wasn't born Jewish and was looking at a religion to convert, and as I thought about it, and they offered several suggestions, probably be Islam. But that would be because I'm starting from being Jewish. And so I'm not quite sure how to deal with that question. If I knew nothing about any religions or anything and just started studying, I'm not quite sure where I would gravitate or what I would look at. So that's why I ended up picking Islam, because it's so similar to Judaism, that it doesn't require the leaps of faith that becoming a Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, or Protestant would require. So I don't know if that satisfies your question. But that'd be a neat topic. We can go to my Zoom room and take a look at Judaism and Islam. That would be kind of fun to do. you're doing it wrong. You see? Whatever you're doing, you're holding a pen wrong. When I went to school, I was forced to use my right hand. I'm adextrous. That was a total disaster. I'm learning disabled. Total disaster, being forced. And if you ask your parents or grandparents, many of them will tell you they're left-handed and they were forced to write with their right hand because being left-handed was wrong. And it really messed them up. Besides, Hebrew's read from right to left. Why? So reading left to right is wrong. We don't know why so many people in the known universe are doing it wrong, but you're doing it wrong because the old religion's Hebrew and Arabic, and it's read from right to left, not left to right. So that's why it's really silly, sometimes entertaining, like finding that switch or showing me how to treat my windows, windscreen, windshield wipers, trunk during a snowstorm or a blizzard. If it's that bad, I'm not going out. Besides, I'll turn on remote start and it melts the snow and I just brush it off. So whatever suggestions, putting a sock on my windshield wiper blades, putting a sock on my rear view outside mirrors, mishigas, you're preparing your car wrong. Now again, we want to look at the difference between dangerous and not dangerous. And I even have another yarmulke that I wore 100 years ago that I was told it's wrong because it's too small. And by the way, for those that told me that, I checked the Talmud. It's not too small. The Talmud approves it. But they were insisting, just like I was wrapping the tefillin wrong, in the wrong direction. And so I would like to put a caveat, a warning out there for those of us who are listening and watching, and for those of you out there that are telling me everything in my life is wrong, I'm using the can opener wrong, I'm using scissors wrong. For all of you out there, change it. Say, I found an alternate way, another way. What do you think of this way? Probably not as much fun. It's more fun telling everybody they're wrong. But, you know, it is fun because you are practicing your religion wrong, and the only way to be right is to buy my book, How to Be Jewish in 30 Seconds. There you have it. If you're not following my book, if you're Jewish or you're not Jewish, you're doing it wrong. I want to just join the legions on TikTok who want to point out to all of us who are TikTokers that we're wrong. A great stocking stuffer. A great gift for one of the 8 nights. It's suitable for Jew, for non-Jew, an understanding. And the cartoons alone are worth the price of the book. So if you don't want to hear the wisdom of Rabbi Block, buy it for the cartoons. And it's going to be that season. You're looking for a stuffing for a sock, a gift for Hanukkah, something to put under the tree. Don't know what to give your favorite interfaith couple? Here, this is it. I just solved all your gift problems. Good night. Lila Tov. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. Look at some of the TikToks that I've left. Listen to me on the Rabbi and I podcast, or the Wisdom of Rabbi Block podcast. Lila Tov. Have a nice, grateful Thanksgiving.